for today will be static pressure of liquids. The hydraulic pressure and then absolute gauge pressure. Ngayon, i-apply na natin yan. As I've said, dun sa mga previous discussions natin, that the basic fluid property, number one, is pressure. Now, the fluid has property that it exerts force on all sides, top and bottom. Pressure exerted by the fluid is given as pressure as force per unit area. Yan yung diniscuss ko noon na if you applied force on a certain area, that is pressure. And then ito yung mga conversion niya. Ang 1 atm atmosphere, okay? 1 atm is equal to 760 millimeter of mercury. 760 torricellis torr equal saan? 101.325 kPa. Tapos ilan? 1.01325 bars equal saan? 14.7 PSI equal saan? 29.92 inches of Hg. Saan equal? 1.033 kilogram per cm squared. Kabisado ko yan ha. Pinapakita ko lang sa inyo na ang memorya ko hindi nakalilimot. Tapos, saan siya equal? Ano pa? Kilogram cm, PSI. In terms naman ng ano? In terms ng meter column. So, that is 10.33 meter of H2O, water column. These are the conversion units you have to remember pagdating ng pressure. Yan. So, kumpleto na lahat ng ano nyo, yung lessons nyo pagdating ng fluid mechanics. Ako lahat gumawa niyan. Okay? So, SI units ito, sinamahan ko na dito ng motor column and English units. Kaya, dapat ito tandaan nyo. Ano ba ang mga dapat tandaan dito, sir? Checkan natin. Ito lang, tanda ko lang talaga lahat. Ito, ito, pwede naman ma-derive to eh. So, ito yung mga key points na kailangan i-derive. Now, the hydrostatic law. What is the hydrostatic law? Hydrostatic law says that pressure in a continuously distributed uniform static fluid varies only with vertical distance and dependent of the shape of the container. The pressure is same at all points on a given horizontal plane in the fluid. Pressure increases with depth of the fluid. Ito na lang ang pansinin natin. Pressure increases with the depth of the fluid. Yan yung sinasabi ko. That if pressure is equal to the force over area, ngayon, hindi naman natin madidetermine to. Okay? Pero yung fluid kasi natin, it takes up the space. Kaya, pwede itong yung specific weight ng iyong fluid multiplied by the height or the depth ng fluid mo. That is the hydrostatic pressure. Now, itong substance mo is coming from what? Yan, no? This one. The specific weight of your fluid is equal to Sg ng iyong fluid multiplied by the specific weight of water, H2O. Now, itong H2O na to, anong value niya, sir? Meron tayong SI and English unit. For SI, the specific weight of your water is 9.8066 kilonewton per cubic meter. Key point, sir, ang density of water, pwede mo rin gamitin to. Density of water, H2O, equal to, para dire-diretso na lang, ha? 1 kilogram in every liter. So, ibig sabihin, that kung meron kang container at water na 1 litro, i-measure mo sa isang weighing scale. Lalabas dyan 1 kilogram. And, sir, paano naman kapag English units? Kapag English unit, this is always 62.4 pound per feet cube. Huwag niyong kakalimutan ito. Yung dalawang yan. Ito yung SI units, ito naman yung imperial units or English units. Now, ito lang yung paliwanag nun. Okay? Yan lang yung paliwanag nun. Hindi na natin kailangan gawing complicated. Now, sabi dito,
Excuse sir, naka-press ko yata yung screen.
paano naka-freeze? Ano ba? Okay. Gumagalaw, naka-freeze ba yan? Naka-freeze?
Sir, hindi po hindi po gumagalaw. Po, hang po yung sa amin.
Ha? Paano nakahang? Post ko ah. No? So, nakita nyo dito sa figure that the forces acting on here, on the fluid element of the height delta H. Yan, ganito yung paliwanag niya. Sinimplify ko na yung paliwanag niya into here. Yan. So, at a given height, at a given depth, meron kang ma-experience na pressure. Yun lang yan. So, ito yung kanyang derivation. Ito. And, sabi dyan, the pressure variation in any static fluid is described by the above basic pressure height. Ayan. Ayan. So, na-derive niya ito, rho GH. Ito lang yun eh. P is rho GH. That is equal to, ito naman kasi, equal yan saan? Specific weight din yan. Yung substance times height. Specific weight ng substance times the height. Now, itong rho G, and then ito, pwede mo naman yung i-extract pa. So, this will be SG ng substance, tapos density ng water times height in terms of water. Now, pwede mo rin magawa to. Okay. Ito is in pressure. Paano naman kapag sinabing pressure head? The pressure head is this one. The pressure that is experienced divided by the kung gagawin mo in terms of water times SG nung substance divided by SG ng water which is 1. Okay, SG ni H2O is equal to 1. Or multiply na lang natin ganito. Ano naman ang measure nito? Anong pinagkaiba niya dito? Dito kasi, ang measurement nito is in kPa. Yan, kPa. Ito, ang measure nito is in coulomb. It's either meter of the substance or H2O. Kung ano yung pinang-divide mo dito. Kung ano yung pinang-divide mo dyan na specific weight, that is the coulomb. Kung pinang-divide mo is water, then meter of water. Paano kung pinang-divide mo is yan, specific weight ng Hg or mercury, the meter of mercury. Ganon. Ganon yung siya ipinapangalan. And that is yung hydrostatics. Okay? Ganon lang kadali yun. And that will be all for the fluid statics na yan. The introduction. Now, let's go here. Calculate the pressure at 5 meters, 10 meters, and 15 meters of a tank filled with water. Filled with water. Okay. So, the pressure. Okay. Pressure nitong una. So, that is, ano ba yung sa water? Times height. Okay. Ilabas ko yung calculator ko, ha? Yan. So, clear muna natin. Yan. So, ano ba yung specific weight ng water? The specific weight of water yan. So, the specific weight of water is, sinabi ko kanina, that is 9.8066 kilonewton per cubic meter. Now, substitute na lang natin dito. 9.8066 kilonewton per cubic meter times yung given height, which is meter. Cancel natin to. Okay. So, 9.8066 times 5, that is in kPa na. Kilonewton per meter squared is in kPa. That is 49.033 at 5 meters. E di at 10 meters, that is times 10, that is 9.98.066. At 15 meters, that is, multiply na lang natin yan ng 15. That is 147. 147.099. All in kilonewton per meter squared or kPa. Now, makita nyo, di ba? At different depths or habang lumalalim siya, tumataas yung pressure. Pinakita nyo dyan. Okay? So, that will be all for the pressure calculation. Ngayon, for gauge pressure. For gauge pressure at absolute pressure. Now, ganito lang yan, ang paliwanag dyan. The gauge pressure is it is convenient to measure pressure in terms of taking atmospheric pressure as reference datum. Pressures above atmospheric pressure is known as pressure gauge. Saan ba nakukuha yung pressure gauge niya? Inside a pipe, kung meron kang piping, ayan yung piping mo, andito yung fluid sa loob ng pipe mo, and then meron ditong lalabas din na parang, kung meron kayong kotse, anong tawag doon? That is speedometer. Dito naman gauge. Nakaganon yung pressure. Okay? Ibig sabihin, the one that is measured by this gauge is the gauge pressure. Kaya nga tinawag pressure gauge. So, yung inside pressure ang mini-measure niya. And ito yung condition niyan. Pressure measured above atmospheric pressure is known as gauge pressure. Ibig sabihin, PG is greater than your absolute pressure. Okay. Now, how will you make this an absolute pressure? So, absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric pala to, ATM. Absolute, paano mo gagawin absolute ang gauge? O the pressure gauge plus, what? The ATM, atmospheric pressure. Para maging absolute yung pressure. And you always have to do that. Lalo na kapag ginagamit natin siya sa PVT relationships. Lahat dapat, yung pressure, absolute, yung temperature, absolute. Kaya dapat ito yung gagawin mong pressure. The atmospheric pressure on the scale is marked 0 kung pressure gauge. E di yung absolute mo, the pressure gauge, will be equal to PG plus i-0 mo to. Therefore, PG yan. Tama nga naman. The absolute pressure, kapag i-0 mo yung ATM, will be pressure gauge. Now, the absolute pressure. Since atmospheric pressure changes with atmospheric condition, perfect vacuum is taken an absolute standard pressure. Kaya mo nga ginagawa yung absolution ng pressure. Yan. Pressure measured above perfect vacuum are called absolute pressure. So, ito yung figure na mag-explain dyan. Pinaliwanag ko na sa inyo. Ayan yun. Sinamari ko na. Okay? So, positive gauge pressure, negative gauge pressure, ang tawag doon is vacuum. Kapag negative ang value, negative pressure gauge equal to pressure vacuum. Yan. Okay? So, paano mo, maka-counteract yung vacuum? Ma-minus mo lang yan. And then, paano siya? Ganito. Mas maganda gamitin natin, ito example na to. Okay? Yung piston. A hydraulic press has a diameter ratio between two piston, 8 to 1. Ibig sabihin ito, 8 times ito. The diameter of the larger piston is 600 mm. 600 mm. And then, required to support a mass of specific gravity of 0.8. Calculate the required force on the smaller piston. Ano daw i-exert mo ditong force para may angat mo tong 3,500. Yan. When two pistons are at the same level, ibig sabihin equilibrium. B, when the smaller piston is 2.6 meter between or below the larger piston. So, for pressure 1, alamin muna natin yung magiging pressure niya. Okay? Since pressure is equal to force over area, ayun, yung force dito kasi na dapat mong applyan ng pressure is yung mass. O di mass times 3,500 times 9.81 na gravitational acceleration. Magiging newtons na lang yan. Divide by the area. Ano ba yung area niyan? Binigyan ka dyan ng larger piston size. So, dapat gawin nating meter na. Divide na lang natin to ng 1,000 para maging meter. Okay, so that will be pi over 4 times 0.6 meter squared na to. Square. Newton per meter squared, that is in Pascal. Okay? Ang condition dyan sa A, when two pistons are at the same level. Ibig sabihin, P1 is equal to P2. Calculate the required force. Hindi natin alam. Okay. So, itong P2 is equal to force nito over area nito. Now, equate natin sila. 3,500 times 9.81 newtons over pi over 4 times 0.6 tapos squared, meter squared, equal to force over pi over 4 times 0.075 squared. Cancel all the same units. Ito, tapos ito, cancel natin. And then we'll arrive with what force. Check na natin kung ano yung force at 2. Kung tama ba. Okay. So, 3,500 times 9.81 times 0.075 squared divided by 0.6 squared. Now, the answer will be 536, 536.48 Newton. Check na natin kung tama. Okay. That is correct. Yun yung condition 1. Ibig sabihin, same level. Ngayon, paano kung nag-dip siya? Nag-dip pa daw ng pressure. Okay, nag-dip pa daw below larger piston. Ibig sabihin, ito bumaba pa rito. Yan, from here up to here. Okay, so how will we solve it? Yan. B. Yung pressure niya na bumago will be equal to yung pressure 1 plus yung density ng fluid times gravity times the height. Now, since density ang binigay dyan is the sa fluid, so alamin natin P1, P2, okay? Equal pa rin naman to sa P2. Hanapin mo yung force required. So P1 is 3,500 times 9.81 divided by P1 pa lang to pi over 4 times 0.6 squared plus ito. Itong rho g, pwede itong density ng water times Sg ng fluid. Yan. Ano ba yung Sg ng fluid? Binigay dyan 0.8 times 9.81 kilonewton. Pwedeng 9.8066, pwede na rin 9.81. Okay na yon. Times the height column, di 2.6 meters equal to P2. P2 is force 2 over pi over 4 times 0.075. Now, the best way for you to calculate it is pagsama-samahin mo na. Multiply mo na. So, F2, 3,500. Lagyan mo natin ng bracket. 3,500 times 9.81 divide by shift pi over 4. Isang pindutan na lang to times 0.6 squared. Yan. Plus point, lagyan ko ulit ng bracket, 0.8 times 9.81 times 2.6 double bracket times pi over 4 times point square to 0.075 squared. Yun. So we have another answer. Oh, bakit nangyari yun? Nangyari. Inad ko naman. Naka-kilonewton pala to. Naka-kilonewton. Kilonewton per meter cube to. Naka-newton lang minultiply. Kilonewton per meter cube. Multiply pa natin 1,000. Kaya pala kulang. That is yung problem number, letter D. Lapit. Okay? So, number, ano tayo? Pascal's law na tayo. So, number 2. Problem number 2. The diameter of the piston of a hydraulic jack is 6 times greater than the diameter of the plunger, which is 200 millimeter. They are both the same height that made the same material. Same material. Saan mo nakuha yung 0.75? Ito, saan ko nakuha to? Ayun, meron kang 8 over 1. 8 over 1 equal to 600 divided by x. Oh, edi 600 divided by 8. 75. X will be 75. Ito mo nakuha. Taka kayo, no? So, the jack is 6 times greater than the diameter of the plunger. Ibig sabihin, the hydraulic jack has a diameter na 6 times yung 200 equal to 1,200 millimeters. They are both at the same height and made of the same material. The piston weighs 100 newton and supports a mass of 50 kilogram. The jack is filled with oil density. Ayan, given naman. Calculate the force required for the plunger to support the piston and mass if it carries a level of at a level of 10 cm above that of the plunger. Okay, pareho lang ng ginawa natin kanina. So, ganun lang. Sinortcut na lang yan. So, gusto nyo ba alamin pa natin kung anong height ba ang binigay nyo dyan? X is 10 cm na height. Okay. So, solve natin. Isa-isa na lang. So, the pressure 2 is equal to pressure 1 plus nung height na ibinaba niya. So, rho G H. Yung pressure 2 is equal to definitely force 2 over area 2. Oh, yung pressure 1. Ano ba yung pressure 1? That is, binigay ba dyan? Wala siyang binigay. That is force. So, 100 plus 50 kilograms. So, di 100 newton plus 50 times 9.81 in newtons na to. Divided by yung area, pi over 4. Gawin na natin tong area 1. So, divide na natin ng 1,000. That is 1.2 meters squared. Plus, density. Dito natin sa baba. Plus, the density. Ang density na binigay is in kilogram meter cube. So, 900 times 9.81 times the height. Ano ba yung height dyan? 10 cm. O di 10 divided by 100. Kasi 10 cm, 100 cm is 1 meter. Para meter na lalabas. And then, equal to, ano ba yung force na hinahanap? Force 2 over pi over 4 times 0.2 squared. Mahanap uli natin si force 2. Ganun uli yung calculation natin kanina. So, that is 100 plus 50 times 9.81. Okay, divide by pi over 4. Pi divide by 4 times 1.2 square plus 900 times 9.81 times 100 divide by 10 divide by 100. Yan. And then, dalawa, multiply na natin ng shift pi divide by 4. Hanggat kaya ng calcu times 0.2 square. So, the answer will be, tingnan natin kung tama tayo. 44 F2 is equal to 44.1399 newtons. Yep. Okay. That is the answer. Now, ito naman. The ratio of the diameter of the plunger and ram is 1 to 5. Yung plunger mo, 1, tapos yung ram is 5. The diameter of the plunger is 40 mm. So, ibig sabihin yung ram is 5 times 40. That is 200 mm. Find the weight lifted by the hydraulic press when the force applied to the plunger is is 500 newton. Ganito na lang yan. The force over diameter. Force 1, diameter 1 equal to force over diameter 2. Square. Sir, nasaan yung pi over 4? O di kinancel ko. Pareho lang naman sila eh. Okay. So, ang hinahanap dito is the plunger 500. So, F2. F2. Yan. Equal to F1 D2 squared over D1 squared. And then, F2 is equal to, huwag nyo muna pansinin to. I-check nga natin kung tama yan. So, that is 500 newtons times D2. D2 is 200 squared over 40 squared. Okay. So, calculating 500 times 200 squared divided by 40 squared. The answer is, kunyari, ay, mali. Ba't ganyan yung sagot niya? Ito, mali lang ng type to. Mali lang ng type yan. F1 over 200. D1 pala, baliktad ako. Dito. F2, D1. Plunger eh. Diameter of the plunger on the force that the plunger applied to the plunger is 500. So, tama naman. F2, D2 is 200 squared. Anong mali ko dyan? 1:5 nga eh. 5 times 40 is 200. Tama naman. Minamali ako nito. Tama naman. 500 sa plunger eh. Di ibig sabihin F1.
Sir, typo po yung sa sir, yung nakasulat po. Tama po yung solution, sir.
Ano na?
Typo lang po talaga yung sasagot, sir.
Typo, no? Tama ako.
Opo.
Tama ako. Yun. So, that is now kung paano natin gagawin yung Pascal's law of pressure. Okay? So, naintindihan nyo? Typo lang to. Typo nga lang, kahit sinecheck ko. So, this is 1. Okay. Wala akong mali dyan. Chinek ko lang, dinoble check. So, that is Pascal's law of pressure, tapos yung hydrostatic pressure, absolute pressure. And that will be all for that module. Okay? So, let's proceed with another topic.